I'm James Bartlett and I live in Orlando, Florida. Today I'm going to talk about classic motion picture cameras. Classic motion picture cameras have filmed some of the most funny, epic films in Hollywood. There were many cameras used during the last 100 plus years, but I'm going to focus on only 4 that I feel helped change or revolutionize the industry. One of the first cameras was from Bell & Howell, and they were founded by Donald J. Bell and Albert S. Howell in the early 1900s. This company's main business at the time was repairing other movie companies' cameras, but they wanted to go into camera business themselves. So they came out with their first camera in 1909. It was a hand-cranked all-wood body camera, followed by the hand-cranked all-metal body camera of the Bell & Howell 2709. It was released in 1911. It had a 4-lens turret and a rack-over system with twin 400-foot film magazines. Also, film movement at the time was quite different than any of the manufacturers. They used a shuttle gate clamp system, in which the frame was held in place, completely steady, using register pins during the film process. Pins would hold the film during its exposure, keeping it nice and steady. They would continue to use this system for many years through different innovations until the company went out of business or stopped making motion picture cameras in the early 70s. The next big camera company was the Mitchell Film Company. They introduced the B&C blimp body camera, and they would continue to use this style with many innovations through World War II. During wartime, there were very few made because of the metal that was needed for the war. At that time, they were still using the rack-over system. Let's take a look.
Rack the camera over. Push a button on the T-handle, and what that does is rack the camera and the magazine, the film, away from the back of the lens.
So that's how you would get your shot. You would rack the camera over, line up the lens through the viewfinder, then rack the camera back and line the film up with the lens, and then you were ready to make your shot. Cameras were, at the time were all handmade by the Mitchell Company. So if you needed a part, and you were lucky enough to have 2 or 3 on your production lot, you couldn't simply take a part out of one of your cameras and put it into when it needed a part. You had to have it specially ordered, and because they were all handmade and the parts weren't interchangeable. The next, probably the biggest company was Panavision. Now they specialized in cameras, lenses, and grip equipment. So if you need a special lens or a special camera for a production, you could go to Panavision, tell them what you're looking for, and they would make it manufactured for you, obviously, at a cost. Now Panavision started out as a lens company. However, in 1963, Panavision bought MGM's film or camera department and started the camera rental business. They would innovate the camera and make it smaller and less noisy. Then in 1968, the Panaflex was born.
The Academy Award-winning Panaflex was born.
As you can see, it could be converted to a handheld camera very easily. Panavision would go on to win Oscars for both their cameras and lens design. The only company that would win has ever won Oscars in both categories. They also came up with an attachment for projectors in theaters where they could change the aspect ratio of a film very quickly and easily. And last, but not last in history, is Technicolor. I left this last because of their innovations of color. They were one of the great pioneers in the development of color film. They were one of the first to use the 3-strip film process. Their innovations for color films brought films to life. There were many inventors and innovators at the time, but Technicolor was one of the leaders.